Hey everyone, it's Amy Nakos with Your Castle Summit Real Estate. I'm very excited to be presenting this information to you. It's hot off the presses. It's 2015 data. Today in this brochure, I'm going to be covering only Summit County. If you are interested in Eagle, Grand, or Steamboat, do let me know and we can get this entire packet to you. So I work with Your Castle Real Estate, which is a great company. And one of the reasons that I love it is the information that we are able to provide to you and the in-depth data analysis. So you're going to see today in the slides that I'm going to go through the kind of information that we can provide to you. And really my goal is always education. I'm not here to try to sell you something or tell you something. Really my goal is to try to get you information you need to see whether a real estate purchase in the mountains is something that's going to be right for you and your family. So my information's at the bottom and let's get started. We're going to compare all of the resort markets that I mentioned in the next slide, and you're going to be able to look at this, and this might help you to decide if you are debating between markets where you would want to purchase. So right here, 2015 average condo price. We're talking about condos on this slide, not single family homes. The reality of the market is that most people are in a price point where they will be able to afford a condo and not necessarily a single family home. For instance, in Summit County, our average single family home price is around $800,000. So Steamboat average condo price is $395,000. As we move into Eagle County, you'll see that in Vail Village, it's $3.1 million for the average condo. Down here in Summit County, which is what we're going to focus on today, Breck, Frisco, Copper, Keystone, Silverthorne, Dillon, you'll see the average price of a condo. Average among the markets is $345,000, but this is what makes this slide the most interesting, the MOI. MOI is months of inventory. What the months of inventory is it is how quickly the current inventory would be absorbed if real estate sales were the same as they are now. So we look at what is selling and how quickly units are selling, and then we see how much property we actually have and how quickly that property is going to be absorbed. So you're going to see in Frisco here, we have a 1 month of inventory. Frisco has had a very, very low inventory situation. Breckenridge 4, Copper 7, Keystone 3, Dillon 1, Silverthorne 2. A balanced market is about 5 to 7 months, and you'll see this down here. 5 to 7 months is a balanced market. So you'll see most of Summit County is in a seller's market. How do we compare to the other markets in terms of recovering of losses for sales prices? So we're looking at all residential property across the board and just seeing what the average price is. So you can see in Denver Metro, the average appreciation from 92 to 2015 is about 5.4%. In Summit County, we're looking at 6.7% over this span, 1992 to 2015. Vail Valley has definitely appreciated the most, but you can see right now that they aren't back. Their average pricing isn't back. Sometimes with average pricing, the thing to remember is that not every single property has appreciated 6.7%. It's just the average price of the units sold. So you also have the issue of the mixture of the types of properties that are being sold in the marketplace. All right, let's get into it. What this chart says is this chart is for the position of the seller. So if you're a seller, are things getting better or worse? So green, good for sellers. If you're a buyer, flip these upside down and you're going to be mostly red. What does it mean if you're mostly red for a buyer? Well, what it means is that our market is improving. So 2014 versus 2015, during this 1 year time frame, this is what has happened. Our months of inventory in Breckenridge has dropped from 6 months to 3.5. You'll see Copper had the largest improvement from 20 down to 7. And what we're seeing right now in Copper is what we saw happen in the other resorts earlier in 2015, which is inventory is being purchased up. I get that's not really great grammar, but people are purchasing the inventory that's on the market. As that inventory gets absorbed, or as we would say, as the bath water leaves the bathtub, we're now going to have more of a demand for the properties that do come on the market. So while I'm talking here, you can look at your favorite market and you can see how your market's doing and what our advice is as to what you should be doing. So in all of Summit, our average price is up 9%. You're also going to see that the units sold is up 15% and our months of inventory is down to 2.8. Something that I found pretty remarkable was in 2010, we had 29 months of inventory and we're down to 2.8 months of inventory. So in 5 years, we were able to actually dramatically improve from the Great Recession. I don't think there's anything else that I want to point out. I do a lot of work in the Frisco market. A lot of people like Frisco. You do need to act fast in Frisco if you do find something you like. Really, the reason in Frisco is you'll see that we only had 100 to 195 units sold in the whole town last year compared to Breck, which is about 725. So Frisco and Dillon are just smaller markets. Keystone is about 100 units bigger in terms of the sales, but these two markets here tend to appreciate a bit quicker and have property that goes more quickly just because there is less of it. Okay, average price in Summit County has gone up dramatically in the last 20 years. So we dropped about 18% during the Great Recession, 2009 to 2013, and we have had 2 years of recovery with our average price. This is average price of all residential property. Condo is the green. So what you can see also is we have 1, 2, 3 years of improvement in the condo market. We actually do anticipate that this will continue because of the trends that are going on in Denver. All right, sales volume. This is about how many units actually sold in Summit County. So you can see here, 2009 was our dip. We dropped 63% in the amount of units we've sold. We are not back into the number of total units we've sold. However, we are definitely climbing. There are 3 leading indicators that tell us how a market is moving. And those 3 indicators are average days on the market, average discount, and average months of inventory. We've talked some about months of inventory already, but when we look at these 3 indicators, we're able to tell where the market's moving. So with average days on the market, the average days on the market is dropping. So in 2013, 14, and 15, we've had less days on the market. At about 200, I'm going to tell you that this number is dropping rapidly. We have some properties on the market in Summit County that have been on the market for a long, long time. That pulls this number up. What's happening now with well-positioned properties that come on the market is it comes on at 0 days. It'll go under contract in a week or 2. It will close within 45 to 60 days. With a loan, we have some new lending rules which are putting us out further than we were normally used to. So we're going to see days on the market here, right here, at about, let's say 60 for properties that are hot, that are coming on the market, that are in the right price point. Why you're seeing this number way up here is the mix of the other inventory that we have on the market and properties in the multi-million-dollar range, for instance, that have been on the market for a number of years. It's going to pull that chart up, even though much of the activity for the condos in the competitive price point is right in here. Average discount, this is the price that the property is sold versus its last list price, okay? So we are off about 3.2%, 3.3% off of the last list price. So when we were in the recession, the buyers definitely had much more negotiating power to get off the bottom list price. The other thing that was happening that's not in this chart is many more price reductions, which made our market much softer. Now what you're seeing is that sellers have more leverage and don't have to negotiate as much. Average months of inventory, fourth quarter 2010, we talked about this and getting 5 years outside of this date. We went from 29 months of inventory all the way down to 2.8. So what happens here, this is the line of the buyers and sellers market. You can see we're in a seller's market. As more buyers come up into Summit County this summer, and as the market starts to heat up, we do most of our sales in the summertime, it will be interesting to see whether the inventory, whether we have enough sellers come forward looking to sell their property to meet the buyer demand. Now what I'm going to do is talk briefly about each submarket. While I'm talking, you can go ahead and take a look at the chart and you'll be able to make heads and tails of it on your own and see that we have improvements in most markets. So our volume in Breckenridge and our average pricing has been increasing over the last 2 to 3 years, and our volume is increasing also. Breckenridge is our largest market with the most amount of inventory, and you can see right here that we're having a nice recovery. Copper. Copper tells a little bit of a different story. Copper's prices have been stable. The condos are now past the bottom, but copper is a market that is lagging behind the other markets in our industry or in this market, given the average price. This is reflecting the mix of what is selling. The higher end properties aren't selling, so we're seeing that average price. In terms of number of properties at copper, though, you will see that as time has gone on, more properties have sold at copper. We had a glut of inventory in copper during this time. So this here, right here, we're seeing the inventory in copper is being absorbed. So now is a great time to buy at copper. Dillon, again, as I mentioned before, Dillon is a smaller market. Dillon has had a great increase in the number of properties sold, also in the average price. People like Dillon because it is by the lake. So a lot of the properties that people are looking for are those that face the lake. So you're going to want to buy in Dillon relatively quickly. Frisco's hot, hot, hot. The average price in Frisco jumped dramatically. What happened in Frisco, this is where I do much of my work, but what happened in Frisco is a lot of single family homes sold in the last year for very high prices. We had a couple over we had 3 at least at the $2 million mark. So that's pulling up this average price. Condos also, you'll see, will pull out those single family homes, and you're still going to see that the condos have increased also. In terms of the number of properties sold, we're nowhere near where we were back here in 97. This was a development time when a lot of new property came onto the market, but we are getting close to that 2007 number where we had a lot of inventory, or where we had a lot of sales. There's some great new construction in Frisco that's closing too. It is all sold now, but we had 3 large projects that came on the market. So those condos contributed greatly to this number right here. Again, time to buy in Frisco. It's hot. You have to act fast. Keystone's a larger market. We have sales volume for the 4th year. And what I'm seeing happen in Keystone too, this slide right here looks backwards. What I'm seeing happening in Keystone right now is very little inventory. So you will see right here, average price in Keystone on the condos has gone back up. We have a jump here. This is just based on the mix of what was sold in Keystone, as is this. This isn't that discouraging. It was just that in 2014, a lot of the lower priced inventory that was still in Keystone got sold, pulling down that average price. Number of properties, again, you can see that we have a 1, 2, 3, 4 year recovery. Silverthorne, again, pretty much the same story. You're going to see we have the recovery in the number of properties sold, and you're also going to see that the average price did go back up, kind of peaked in 2010, and has remained steady. All right, want to thank you very much for your time and for listening to this. If you have any questions, this is me. I would love to help you. My contact information is on the first slide, and you can search properties in Summit County at amynakosrealestate.com. Thank you.